So this is the first day of training and with our program. And if you guys again are concerned or have questions about anything, just let me know. But I'm going to actually share my screen with you, and I have a dual screen, so it's easier for me to share right now. But and we're going to learn about different features of the zhumu program today primarily, and we will also learn a little bit about the teaching materials and resume the rest of that tomorrow. All right, so this is my screen. Don't mind flag on there. It's easier for me to just figure out the state capitals, because I'm still not sure what they are. Just kidding. All right, so can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
What do you see right now?
I see the first slide on online teaching.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, all right. All right, so basically, these are the things that we're going to go over the next couple days. Okay, so we have a couple hours. I know we started just a tad after 11:30. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Over the training manual, which we'll also look at the shared Google Drive. So this shared Google Drive is through this email. It's actually this email. I'm going to have to change it right now because that is wrong. CAC Online Teacher. Okay. CAC Online Teacher. Now, my regular email address is manya.ren@centeraec.com, but the shared Google Drive email address is this one here. We'll also go over conferencing platform, which is what you guys are on right now, and then we'll probably start with some information on the Big English Active Teach, but we'll primarily focus on that tomorrow. We will look at some project success. That is the business English portion. I know you guys, some of you had shown interest in possibly teaching business English in the future. Talk a little bit about the teachers we have now and who you guys will be as teachers and what you will be doing as far as teaching the materials to the students, or projecting materials to the students. We'll program lesson plans tomorrow, as well as the student project progress tracker. That is really just a way to assess the students, and that it will actually be a recorded video, so you won't have to have a live training for that, okay?
Okay.
And the next steps, I will post this PowerPoint. I'll have the next steps on there. The next steps are also located on the training manual. But I'll try to talk about next steps throughout this process too, so you're not completely in the dark, especially tomorrow. I'll kind of give like 10 minutes or so before the training ends for questions and answers, and so that will be part of that that time set. All right, so before we get into the materials, I'm going to check out the training manual, and I have it here. I believe. So I will. Can you guys see the screen okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So you guys went through this. Now, did you guys have any questions about this material as you went through it?
No, I didn't actually see that one. I didn't get it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I had sent, let me see, double check your emails.
I got the slide presentation, and then I got two one-page docs but I did not get this actual text
Oh.
manual.
Oh,
Yeah.
all righty. Let's see. Maybe I had shared a drive with you. So I shared it. I shared this drive, which should have had the training materials in it. It should have had the instructional, let's see, teacher training. Should have had, oh.
I downloaded 3 documents too.
Okay, all right. Well, I am not sure why that's not on there. Okay, my apologies. So I will make sure that you guys get that, but we'll go over this today. And really, this is a lot of we've already went over in our actual, let me just make sure that you guys get that information. Even if you go over it today, it's not that, that's not super huge. But what I would like to do is I'd like to send it to you guys right now so you have access to it and you can look at it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, if you don't mind waiting a few moments, okay? Actually, yeah, so I'm very intrigued because it was actually posted on there. I don't know what happened if I accidentally deleted it or something like that, but I'm kind of concerned now. But it should have been on there already. So I'm just going to send it to you in an email, but I'm also going to just post it right back on the drive so you guys have it.
Okay.
So I'm curious, Jose,
Yes.
what your background is, how you became interested in teaching English.
It's sort of a long story, but long story short, I am, as I've told you, I'm moving to Washington State, and I needed a job that I could do online. Now, I come as a background from teaching kids Taekwondo. I am certified on it, and where we use the TPR method, and I felt like, well, kind of like a perfect fit for me. I mean, it works like this. It works perfect because, I mean, I've had to teach kids that don't speak like any speck of Spanish or English. I mean, I have Chinese kids in my classroom, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we use the TPR method to teach them how to kick, do the basic commands in the classroom and everything. So I feel pretty confident that I can teach kids. And when I went online and saw that this actually exists, it was like almost too good to be true.
Well, that's cool.
It was
so
perfect.
Primarily your background has been teaching.
Well, I do that in the evenings. I am a medical office administrator during the day, in which part of my job is basically training people with different, because I don't want to really get too technical on it. I want to train them on different diagnostic codes, how to properly diagnose a patient with a certain code or anything. I'm no physician. It's just that I'm more familiar with coding, what's called medical coding. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so how about yourself?
Is that within your field? Did you study something related to that, or did you study something completely different before?
I have a bachelor's in biology, a master's in public health, which and then now
life sciences.
Yeah, life science. And now I'm going into health information management.
Sweet, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll answer your question in a minute, but I'm not sure if Manya's ready to keep moving here.
Yeah, I actually just sent you guys the training manual, so I apologize for that. And I just posted it on the That was interesting because that was the first thing that was posted. So I'm not sure how it got deleted, but maybe when I moved it around or something, so maybe it was just sent somewhere else where it shouldn't have been. But it's now posted on the Google Drive, and it's also in your emails. So I or you could just check out what I am reading here when I go through it momentarily.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so the first page, I really don't want to have to go too much into the introduction and requirements because we've sort of already gone through this when we went through our interview. And so you guys could go ahead and go at your own pace and leisure and viewing this information. And so just basic requirements, your availability, things we already talked about, class time. I do want to actually show you this paragraph here. We had talked about how the classes are about, 30 minutes, right? So it's actually 25 minutes long of teaching and then a 5-minute buffer. Or a break or something like that. So if you need, let's say you have multiple classes in a row, you could get up, go to the bathroom, get some coffee, whatever you got to do. And we have a program called TeachWorks. That's our calendaring program. So that's fairly new for us, and it's basically a tutoring management software system, and that's where all of the lessons will be posted. Each of you will have individual teacher accounts where you can, look at your lessons for the day, and let's say you've already conducted a lesson, or all your lessons for the day. You can pretty much just complete the lesson, and I will see that the lesson's been completed. You can also put notes on there. You can, you'll see how much you will receive for that lesson. It will all be on that account. So it's pretty valuable material. So I like it, and that will be introduced to you as well. In fact, when we schedule our trial lessons, I will send you and like if you schedule okay, I'm going to do a trial lesson this week or next week or something, I will send you a kind of like a mock lesson with that information that, I will pretend to be the student or something, and I'll put you on as the teacher for this particular schedule, and you will see me on there as like your first student, type thing, just so you can get some familiarity with it. But that will be later on, so don't worry about that too much right now. But that is how we schedule the times, are through TeachWorks right now. About hours and time slots, which at the end of this document, there is a list of all of the available time slots, so the possible time slots, rather. Okay. I also mentioned that, we're in the training right now, so we don't really have to talk about that too much. Briefly, a couple of minutes ago, I mentioned that after training and before your first assignment, so there'll be 3 training lessons. So there'll be a trial lesson. You will conduct a trial lesson with me, and then you'll have 2 trial lessons with our China team. Okay, 2 different people from our China team. And those will be at different times. Okay, and we'll talk about that. And I also mentioned that this is an independent contractor position. And right now we start everybody at $15 an hour, trainings at $15 an hour. And so we will give you, actually you'll have access to the I-9, that information plus direct deposit information. It's all in the drive. I'll make sure you have access to that. Kind of try to submit that sometime, before training ends, after training ends, just so we can have it and I can, send it to our accounting department. And so when I say at least 5 hours of paid training, there could be an hour or 2 beyond that too. Okay, so just so you know. So as far as payment for training is concerned, that will be issued after you do complete the training. I will give like a short questionnaire about not only the training, but about the rubric training that we'll be doing. And again, mock trial lessons with our Los Angeles team, with our China team, and then a certificate, which is very simple, and then of course a SurveyMonkey evaluation about the training. Try not to talk too much during the next couple of times, but I do talk a lot, so I apologize if some of this is repetitive information. But as far as salary, we had talked a little bit about that during our interviews, that could increase based on teacher performance. What we're noticing is that after maybe 90 days, usually there's an increase, or there is an evaluation done by some of the students and the teachers. And so 90 days, our progress or program specialists give assessments and evaluations of the teachers. And that's all done through our progress tracker. So the learning management system, which is just basically through Pearson's Big English Active Teach, as well as Project Success. We're primarily focused on Big English Active Teach. The business, that's Project Success. That will come a little bit later for some folks who are interested in that. Focused on Big English Active Teach. This courseware, it's just downloaded onto your computer, okay? We'll send you a few levels and you download it onto your computer and you have access to it, okay? It is not a component of this program, zhumu. zhumu is simply just for projection. It's just for the online teaching component, okay? We do ask that the teachers do use the material as far as teaching, tutoring rather, their one-on-one student, and it's really interactive. It has a lot of materials you could draw from. So that's something we'll talk about a little bit later. Also, if you have materials that you used in the past, if you have props or something like that, or even if it's you have a conversation starter, an icebreaker, or been working for a student for a while and they've shown some interest in something that you've talked about and you want to introduce that or integrate that into your lesson plan, that's also okay. But you'll probably find that the material that you do have through Big English and even the Business English, it's enough there that you really don't need to even introduce outside stuff, but it's a possibility. So any questions about this information? We'll pretty much be going over, maybe not so much salary, but we'll go over courseware and the demos and all of that later on. Okay. All good? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Okay, and then tech support. We do, like I had mentioned to both of you, we do have a Chinese team. We actually have a couple of offices in Beijing and Shanghai and Xi'an, and we have we have 4 offices in those surrounding areas. And we have an IT manager who's out of the Beijing office. His name is Henry. And he would be the primary contact for any technical issues if you're having, especially as it relates to zhumu and projecting the Big English software onto zhumu. I help with all of the teacher-related issues, and what we do is we actually create a group chat on WeChat. WeChat is primary communication tool in China. So it's recommended that you try to download WeChat onto your phone as soon as you can. And it's just like WhatsApp, something like that. So that would be really great if you do that, if you downloaded WeChat onto your phones and computer. Now, if you don't want to download it on your computer yet, you don't have to right now, but you will have that opportunity to obtain a WeChat onto your computer when we supply you with another type of account called QQ. QQ International, and it's primarily for email transfers and some file transfers, especially for videos and things like that. So, and we'll talk about that probably more tomorrow. But as far as WeChat is concerned, it would be recommended that you do download WeChat. So here's Henry's WeChat ID, and then mine is pretty easy. So this is on the 4th page. This information is on the 4th page of this training material.
Okay.
Okay.
Download.
Right. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So the online teaching process itself, and we're already kind of talking about this, so you don't have to worry about that, which is just attending the training and talking right now. So today and this is why it would have been ideal for me to send you the right information so you would already know what's going on today. So I apologize for that. But why it wasn't on there. But so it says here hour 2, day 1 and 2. So we'll do what we can to navigate the Active Teach digital software. But we'll actually open it up today, and you'll see what it looks like. But navigating the zhumu platform, which you guys are pretty internet and IT savvy, shouldn't be too difficult. And I think we have already talked about your requirements for online technical requirements. So I think that was the issue that this other gentleman was having, is because I think he has the wrong computer, so he's not able to download the platform. So yeah, so it's a Chrome, and I think the reason why Chrome doesn't work is because it's Google, and Google is basically blocks all Chinese servers block Google. So the zhumu platform was designed and engineered in China. So which is why you see the Mandarin writing, but it's a useful program. All right, and then tomorrow we'll talk about total physical response, and we'll probably look at a little short video clip. And what I would like, though, primarily tomorrow, instead of me talking about it, I'd like to get your ideas about it, maybe share your experiences about total physical response, and I know that earlier Jose was doing that a little bit. So, and then even if you have no idea if you've ever done it before, you probably have, and you probably integrated, in academia anyways, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So at least these are the ways that we would try to employ the total physical response, because our primary focus for the students, for tutoring the students, the one-on-one students, speaking capabilities, giving them confidence to speak the English language. Mm-hmm. Are very, very intelligent. Like, you'll notice that they know how to read, they know how to write. Maybe they have some grammar issues, but they are not very confident, or they don't have the capabilities to speak the language. So that would be one of the components, but that would be a focus, in like moving them forward into the next level of English, of being something, is to focus primarily on how well they speak and getting them to do that, giving them that confidence to do that. So we'll also look at a mock lesson, or I might even just have you look at that on your own time, because it's like a 30-minute long lesson that one of our earlier teachers had submitted. Look at the lesson plan, like a basic lesson plan, okay, and what that does, what it incorporates. And the last day, which is essentially kind of like the recording day, you'll look at a recording of the 12 rubrics. And I'll also just I'll send you the link to the TeachWorks, and you can actually, TeachWorks doesn't really need a lot of training. It's mandatory. And if you've ever worked with a management software system at all, then you'll gather that. So that's kind of the gist of what we'll be going over the next couple of days. Any questions about any of this? Okay.
Nope.
All right, cool. All right. I told Jose earlier, I said, I got males, on today, and not a lot of questions. So this is going to go by so fast. I love females. I'm a female, but you know, the females always have great questions. Not to say that you guys don't, but it's just an interesting dynamic. I feel like sometimes that you guys will just sink it in, and then maybe later you guys will email me with a list of questions or something. Right? No? Okay. maybe. Okay. All right. Okay, so earlier up here, we had talked about what, or as like teaching demo trial classes. Demo is just basically your trial classes. So like you're demonstrating your teaching abilities. Okay. Me, that will be your first one. Okay. So I will pretend that I'm maybe a 7 or 8 year old or something like that. And you will, not much difference than now, right? So, you know, I kind of act that young now, but I'm kidding. But I will pretend to be like a 7, 8 year old, whatever, 9 year old, and you guys will basically be a lesson to me. Okay. China team, they'll pretty much be they'll act their age. So they're very professional, as we are professional. But I tried to kind of, I personally tried to spice it up a bit. So I'll sing along with you, and I'll, whatever sort of activities you're asking me to do, I'll try to do the best I can. So you'll schedule a lesson with me first, and then you'll schedule a lesson with the China team, which is essentially through me anyways. But, and you will be teaching through Big English Active Teach. You'll be teaching those materials, and they'll have to be downloaded onto your computer's hard drive. And then these are some of the ways that you'll be teaching using total physical response, mostly. And then some of the ways that you should focus on your lesson. So ways you can engage students, demonstrate how you present basic language skills using the 4 linguistic reading, writing, speaking, and listening, and then sample lesson plan, which we'll go over later, so you don't have to memorize this or anything like that. Okay. For further evaluation, that date is to be announced. So I'm not quite sure when you will actually conduct your trial lesson, but I will post a Calendly link so you can just, basically schedule yourself. So if all goes well this week, which I think it will, like tomorrow, you can even schedule yourself same time on, Thursday. Sorry, today's Tuesday, right? So even on Thursday or even Friday, if that's what you like to do. Yeah, and then after, yeah. What's that?
We're doing our lesson. This training is today, tomorrow, and Friday. Yes.
Yeah. So the Friday lesson, the Friday training is a recorded video. So I say you should probably post it on there, and then you can probably watch it sometime on Friday. For me to know that you're actually considering doing that, so I can have it for my record. So, but it's not a live training on Friday. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after the trial lessons, I'll make sure that you get in touch with the China team so you can conduct trial lessons with them, which will be about 2 of them. Okay. So really just, again, for evaluative purposes, if there's any additional training or information you need, I'll make sure to contact you. At that time, though, you'll sign like a training completion, an evaluation survey of the training or of the discussion that we're having. You'll also receive the direct deposit information, as I mentioned earlier, but you'll have access to that before. So you can even send that as early as, today if you want to, once I send that. And that will also include that form that you'll need to fill out for the tax purposes. Mm-hmm. Also, after training, you'll be able to submit your schedule. So even the Google Drive will have a blank June schedule, so you can start filling that out. Okay. And of course, it says here that you'll be contacted how to submit the schedule. So you could basically just email me that schedule. And then what I do with the schedule, this is how I usually schedule students and teachers, or schedule the teachers rather. The China team gives me a list of students, and then I schedule on teacher and student availability. That's how it's usually scheduled at first. We're working on a system to where the students can choose their own teachers, and that will probably be through TeachWorks. Quite at that level yet. So right now it's more of a, it's more where we know what's going on. We know who you're going to get ahead of time. So, but our student numbers are growing, so we're trying to, so it's a little more sophisticated, and that's where our Chinese team is in, and Henry is heading that up. So, yeah, and so basically, as far as the schedule is concerned, you will receive a monthly blank. But that's going to be posted on the drive, so you basically could just go right on there and fill it out. Here, students are assigned levels based on your expertise and students' availability, student and teachers' availability. So, you know, right, pretty much everyone is assigned of grade levels, you know, first, second, third grade. That's been the biggest demand right now. It's just been the younger students, but you are getting older students, and I had explained that we are getting some business English students too. And I talked about this briefly before, but students are based test or they're tracked in the system called For All Rubrics, and it is a assessment software system. And I use a rubric that I call the Big English Global Scale of English rubric. So Big English GSC. The GSC rubric was designed by Pearson. Pearson Publication is the one who English, okay? So their scale essentially just tests the English proficiency of second language learners. So if you ever taught in Europe before, like on a full-time basis or even anywhere, and they use a rubric inside the classroom, they most likely gauge their students' performance on what is called the Common European Framework of Reference Languages. And just essentially a alphabetical scale, alphabetical and numerical scale, and that this particular has adopted, except it's on a numeric, just a pure numerical scale. So I've adopted their scale, and then I have whittled down some of the information to make it a little more understandable, okay, for our students and for our teachers. So are you required to understand about assessment and all the standards and learning outcomes? Not really, okay? You're not really required, but you should be able to tell whether a student needs work on his or her speaking skills, his or her writing skills, reading, that sort of thing. And the standards that are listed on this rubric give that some understanding and some idea. Okay, so I'm not expecting you to completely understand all of this right now, because that's going to be in a later session. It's in the recorded session. But I just want to give you an idea that that's sort of what we are moving towards, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the lessons themselves are concerned, notified at least 3 days, because I actually try to get it a week. So this says 1 to 3 days. Sometimes we get new students who need within 24 hours, and so try to notify you within 24 to 72 hours in advance of your respective assignments. We do ask that you try to plan your lessons at least 12 hours in advance of that teaching assignment. Especially if you have like a week period. So if you could try to plan it within 12 hours, that would be great. We do ask that any prospective lesson plans that you send to both Henry and to me. Supposed to be, but that is going to be deleted. So just, you know, so lesson plans to us, you can do that. We'll tell you how to submit those lesson plans. And I just want to let you know too that we sample lesson plans, and I'll show you what those look like. And so you're more than welcome to use the samples and then put your own information in there when the time comes. All right. So as far as lesson cancellations are concerned, you'll be notified within 24 hours of any cancellations. If you need to cancel for any reason, emergency or otherwise, or something came up, just try to let us know at least 24 hours in advance. Cancel your lessons and don't attempt to reschedule, then you will not get paid for that. Try not to be late to class. If there are any late class sessions, class teachers must not be late. If they are late, they will not teach class and the class will be otherwise assigned. So for instance, if you're 15 minutes late, most likely the class will be reassigned to another teacher. Okay. So, if a student is late, you can cancel class after 15 minutes, and then you'll receive half payment for that class period. Essentially, you get paid for half payment for the preparation of the class plus the actual late class time. All right. So those are cancellations. As far as your daily, weekly activities, so besides actually class, we do ask that you do try to confirm with your schedule on TeachWorks. And this is just sort of a brief information that when it's done, press the complete button. If you have to cancel a lesson, please notify our team and advance, as I said. You probably noticed that this has happened a couple times. That's why I have it in here a couple times in different places. So, and before each lesson, record all lessons. So I will show you how to do that on zhumu, and then send us the recorded lessons. And when you send the recorded lessons, it will be through QQ International. You probably already heard that name again. You've already heard that name. So that will be sort of like a program. And that's another, you can get WeChat, but that's something that I will have Henry hook up for you, because he actually is able to gain access to that for file transfers. And then your students' progress, again, will be submitted through all rubrics, and that will be on a daily basis. It's pretty easy. You would advance student to specific levels based on their performance. That's probably not going to happen daily, but that would probably happen, maybe on average every couple weeks or something like that. Just a side note, the actual active teach, which is just for the students between the ages of 4 and 16, or 4 and 8 even, there are levels. And so each level is pretty much designated for a specific grade or, kind of age. So a student might be level 2 and probably in the 4th grade. Okay, so it doesn't always equate to grade 2, level 2. So that's why we use the rubric to kind of help us out with that a little bit, because it will add up the points and it will give you guys a better idea of how you should place your students, where they should go in the next level. Should they stay in this level? Should they go down a level? So that's what our teachers are sometimes noticing, like, yeah, they're 3rd grade, but they really need focus on these. So, this last section here, where it says prepare progress reports, I'm not emphasizing that right, especially for the new teachers right at this moment. Okay, so if you can get the rubrics and get familiar with the rubric, there's only one right now that we're using for all teachers, and you can get the me, then that's fine. The parents of the students and our China team just want to see how well the students are doing and how they're progressing through the program. So if you do actually get a parent that's talking to you, you'll notice a lot of times that the parents are kind of sitting on the sidelines for the student, maybe feeding them information, telling them what to say type thing. But we haven't had that experience where the asking you questions, and that's fine. Sometimes you'll see, though, you'll notice in your teaching that there will be another participant probably online, and that might be someone from our staff. And really, they're there to help the parent, the student, to kind of get through the lesson a little bit for tutoring purposes, not tutoring the actual program, but as far as translation is concerned, they're there to help with translation a little bit. And also, just to give you some idea, this will be prepared on your lesson in advance. That's why we do ask that you submit a lesson plan to us, because the team will give them some idea, like, okay, we're going through these pages, so this is what you have to look out for. So that way they're prepared for the lesson. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then just any questions you can ask me. Any questions about this process? Yeah, if you, again, just let me know.
Not right now. I'm gonna review this again later.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like there's a lot of procedures to follow through.
Yeah, there is a lot of information to take in, so I don't expect you to have any questions right now. So,
and it'll
go ahead.
be easier to follow through whenever we start doing it.
Sure. Yeah, you have access to it all. So, any questions that you have after that, and anything that is unclear, or I'm happy to always help. Okay. All right, so I wanted to show this to you because this is just of the prospective time slots that one could actually teach. So this is the student schedule. This is on China time, and there's a total of about, right now, and it might change as summer sort of hits in July for the Chinese students, but total of, during the week, 8 times 5. So the total about 4 time slots during the week, and this is in China time. So for Eastern Standard Time, this would be 6 to 6:30 a.m. Go on, okay? And so typically the time, yes?
It's exactly 12-hour difference.
Yes, exact 12-hour difference. And then for Pacific Standard Time, it's a 15-hour difference. So by the way, just give you a heads up, when there's a time change, it will a 13-hour, a 11-hour difference rather, I think. No, 15 hours for you, because China does not have daylight saving. We do not observe it. So, same Puerto Rico. Okay, you don't even have savings. Oh boy, well, I don't know what's up with America. I guess we're the really practice it. Well, I guess we do.
Arizona doesn't have daylight savings as well.
What's that?
Arizona, I don't think they have daylight savings as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, in the part where it says a minimum of 6 to 10 hours a week, or is the minimum 6 and the maximum is 10?
No, any in between that, 6 to 10 hours. If you can give us at least the max, there is really no max. I mean, if you're available every single one of these time slots, that's awesome. I don't know if you might be, because this is between 9. This would be at night for you to 10 a.m. in the morning. So
whenever we talked about availability, we need to be available from 6 to 10 in the morning, U.S. time or Eastern time, from at least Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is enough hours for us to actually teach all those hours if we wanted to schedule that.
Well, if you are let's say you're only available, let's say you can only do the Monday through Friday slots, right? And and you're available all of these hours. You would just submit your availability, and then we would match you with the student who actually has that availability as well. So, for instance, there's some students who can only take class between 6 and 6:30. Like, that's it. And there's students who can take classes only between 8 and 8:30, you know. So if you're a teacher who's available during that time, and you're not teaching during that time, you know, then we'll give you, and so right now we're kind of seeing an influx of more of an influx of students. We again, I think I told you how you're just kind of into the program and developing the systems and developing, you know, also reviewing the software, the pre-designed courseware. So now that we're kind of, we're now developing more students. We're getting more students coming our way. So there'll be a time where all of these slots might be filled. Right now, they're not going to be filled right now. But if you are available for those time frames, that would be great. That way we can match the right students. Okay. There are times too that some of the business students, they will not be available during these times, but they're even available a lot earlier. So I requested, ask questions, are teachers available between 1 and 5 in the morning for you, Stanley? Or it's, you know, a lot earlier for you, Jose. So that might, so there's some variations too. And what I would do is I would send a text message or a WeChat message, and I would ask you, are you available during this time? Are you available during this time? And if you are, then I would put you on TeachWorks availability. So even if you have an available like sheet you hand to me every single month, I will try to ask you if you still can teach during certain times or other hours, even if you already show that you're available, because maybe something came up or something like that. So I will not schedule you if I don't think that you're not available. You know, if I think that you're available, if I think you're unavailable, I'm not going to schedule you, you know. So there's not going to be really any surprises is what I'm saying. I'm not even sure if that answered your question, but hopefully that, okay. All right. All right, so this is just kind of, some of this is repetitive here, but again, you will receive your teaching schedule probably no more than 72 hours, so you might not receive it more than a week in advance, although that happens. So, and then this is, again, China time slots, and then I equated it into Pacific Standard Time. So here we go, Monday through Friday, 8 slots per day, 40 time slots. So that's kind of the max Monday through Friday. And here's the max time slots that are possible for Saturday and Sunday. That's a little bit of repetition there. And then here are your time ranges. So basically what you're looking at, and again, Jose, you're Pacific, right? Pacific Standard Time?
I'm going to be Pacific Standard Time, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is your time range here, 3 to 7.
Not a problem.
Morning. And then Stanley, you have a little more of a leeway there, 6 to 10, 8 in the morning, 9 p.m. to 10 a.m. on that's Saturday, Sunday, but on Friday to Saturday is 9 p.m. to 10 a.m. And then this is their China Saturday. Okay. So, and then this is their China Saturday right here, 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday. So you can see there's a little bit of a gap on Sundays too. So, so that you wouldn't really need to start until the next day, because their China Monday starts at 6. Like, I'm going to give an example of my time. So their China Monday starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Pacific Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So.
Mhm.
All right, so those are the time slots. And any questions about these so far, other than what you asked?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Take a
Um,
look at it. Let me know if you have questions later on. No problem. Okay. All right, now to the fun stuff. Let's see if we can. We have about. I know we started a little bit. So we might just really just get through the navigating the software. We have we basically have another hour, so we're good. Okay. All right, so I already talked about the tech requirements. You guys are okay with that. So right now we're on the communication platform, and you probably see above a toolbar. Is that correct, or is it below?
I only see your slide. Your slide fills the whole screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Get your mouse and then see if you can hover over the bottom of your screen.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So can you guys repeat for me, or Stanley does it, or Jose, doesn't really matter, what you see on the bottom there? What are the buttons you see?
You've got an invite button. You've got this number of participants button. You've got a share screen, which is active right now. You've got a chat button, and you've got a record button.
Okay, great.
Leave the meeting all the way to the right. Left side, you've got a mute and a stop video menu.
Do you have a button that says view options or anything like that?
I don't.
Okay.
Oh, wait. At the very top. The top
Okay.
Of the screen.
So you have to hover over it?
No, it's just, it's there on the screen, on my screen.
Okay.
Okay, now it's gone. Let me see. Okay, yeah, you're right. So if I put my cursor all the way to the top of my screen, then it comes up.
Okay. All right. So what you guys are looking at are basically the what the student will see when they log on to the site. Okay. Even though you guys are logging into the same room, in order for this to change, you would have to host of the room. So every single time that you guys are teaching, you guys will become a host of the room, and it doesn't automatically show up. So you actually have to become the host first before you start sharing your screen and going through the material. So you will receive a document like this. You probably already did, and maybe you had gone through it. But the document will tell you first when you log on to the system. So what you should do, which is what I just mentioned, was share the screen. Okay, so that's what I did. So that's why you can see the screen. So I'm going to ask you guys to click on the button that says New Share or Share. Just click on it and just what comes up?
The one that says share.
Yeah.
Well,
What comes up on your screen? Mm-hmm.
It says you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
Okay. See, I'm glad I asked that question because it's not the same thing that I see. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this share right now. So now you should, all three of us, or maybe you see me talking, and then okay, and then Jose, you start talking, and then you'll see yourself most likely.
Okay.
Oh,
see
nice.
You, and then now I see you.
Oh, and then Stanley. Yeah, Stanley starts talking. Yeah, there you go. See, that's how that works. So anytime you stop the screen, obviously, this is just like any conferencing platform, right? So in order to share the screen, you need to click on the share screen button. So I'm going to ask you to do it again, and then you tell me what you see.
Sorry, click on the screen now. Now, I clicked on the share screen and it says desktop, whiteboard, iPhone, iPad, select camera, launch meeting.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable with whatever's on your desktop, you can X out of whatever it is that you don't want anybody to see. I'm going to ask you to share your screen right now. But before you do that, okay, perfect. Okay. So
give me a quick second. Let me see if I can.
And then I'm going to ask you, Stanley, to do the same thing in a minute, okay? Just so you guys can get with it, okay?
Okay.
So don't do anything right now, Jose, other than click the button on the bottom left that says Share Computer Audio.
Okay, give me one quick second. Share computer audio. Let me see.
Or share something about desktop, and don't click anything else other than sharing your desktop. And then there's like two little tiny. One of them says Share Computer Audio.
Share computer sound, and the
Sound
one says
methods. Yeah, so don't worry about the other one, just the first one, and then now click Share Screen.
You can see my screen.
Yeah, now we can see your screen. Awesome. Now I can hear myself.
Awkward. Yeah, okay.
So since you share the computer audio, and I can hear myself, this is how I know that you don't have besides the fact that you don't have earphones, but I can hear my voice through your computer.
Okay. I have some headphones on. If you want, I can put them on.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need to have some earphones?
Yeah, so go ahead and stop the share screen.
Okay.
Okay. And what was your question, Kelly?
Should we get some earphones like this?
Yeah, the reason why I say that is because it might prove distracting for the student if they have that echo in their ear. And if you have it and it's all just kind of like contained, in the headphones, then you won't. Because I don't know, can you guys hear any background when I share the computer screen? Let me just. Okay. I'm going to share the computer screen again. So can you hear? Go ahead and start talking, Jose or Stanley, and I'm going to ask you if you can hear yourself.
Well, honestly, since the beginning, I couldn't really hear anything on the background, just your voice.
Okay.
I couldn't really, like if the computer was making any sounds or anything, I couldn't hear it. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get any background noise.
Do you hear any feedback right now when you guys are talking?
I don't.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the share, and then now I'm going to ask Stanley and see if you could share the screen.
Okay, so I need to unshare it first.
No, you don't have to do that because Jose unshared his, and then I unshared mine, and then now all you have to do is just click the share screen button.
Okay, so let me ask you this: the share screen button. So if it's already green, that doesn't mean it's active, right?
No.
Okay, I thought.
Yeah, you'll see it when it's active. Yeah, when you click the share screen button, it will pop up and a window will pop up.
Okay, I've got that window.
Good, and we recommend not to really click on anything other than keep it at desktop.
Okay.
And then way on the bottom left, it asks you to share computer sound.
Yes.
So click that button.
Okay.
And then click share screen on the bottom right. And then to be able to see your screen. There you go. So now, okay.
Okay. So do you guys see my screen?
Yeah, so I don't understand why I heard feedback on Jose's, but I don't hear it on yours, Stanley. I thought maybe it was because of the headphones.
I don't know either.
That's okay. Not a big deal. Yeah, so this is the share screen. So this is basically now everything that you do, the student can see. So what do you do to combat that? Well, if you don't want a student to see certain things, or if you're trying to switch screens, what I normally do is I just press pause share, and then it will stay on that screen that the student is currently seeing, and then that way you can kind of go through what you need to go through. So sometimes, if you're ever up on the class, like in the classroom setting, that happens all the time. You have an overhead projector, and you don't want the students seeing certain things that you're trying to pull up. You just always pause. So that's what that feature is. Okay. So, and that's what I've been doing to you guys. So you guys were probably seeing the same screen for a while. That's because I was switching windows. So, so that's that. Now,
I'm curious if the earphones, if you have any experience, any negative experience using, does it matter if it's like a Bluetooth earphones, or does it need to be a wired?
Well, we would, if you actually have a headset, that's wired, I guess that should be okay. It all depends on, your system and your internet and all of that. I haven't known anybody really to have any problems with a wireless headset.
Okay.
But if you have one, we do recommend, the reason why we recommend something that kind of goes above your head, so it's a little more professional rather than like the earbuds. And then if you have the little microphone, that's fine too. Some teachers don't use the headset, but then it can be sometimes with like passing cars or something like that. I don't know, you guys are probably in your house, so you don't really have that background noise, but it's happened with some teachers. So we do try to make it uniform for everyone. So you probably noticed, and briefly on your side, Jose, you guys probably noticed a different toolbar, okay? Because right now I see the toolbar that you guys normally would see, but when you guys are sharing the screen, you probably see a different toolbar. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's similar.
Similar, okay. All right.
It looks like it's got almost all the same buttons.
Okay, good. So right now I'm actually going to then ask you to stop the share screen, and I'm going to actually make you guys hosts of the room, okay? And then you will see some variations as well, okay? So those are the two kind of things that you'll need to do. I guess it doesn't really matter which order, how you do it, but the first things you need to do is share your screen and make yourself a host, okay? You probably would already have the big English material up, so I guess that would be a third thing you would need to do. So make sure you have your materials up, make as a host, and then share your screen all before you need to teach the class, okay? Some teachers don't have the share screen button right away, okay? So it's like, if it's the last one, that's fine. But the reason why we ask at least to do the host thing, and of course the big English, is because you as a host have the capability of recording the session. And so we do ask that you do record the session for just, quality purposes, quality control and that sort of thing. And for us, and for the China team. So, and we have a series of those recorded sessions. So actually, Jose, you're actually second next to me on my little screen there. So I'm gonna actually make you guys a host, one of you, and then we'll share on that. I'm going to ask you both, though, to do this. Click the Manage Participants button or the Participants button.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see your names there. So this is essentially, I mean, this is like a chat box. So you guys could, if you wanted to chat a group, or you could chat just to who, like, let's say a China staff member is there and you wanted to talk
Mm-hmm.
and ask them questions, you can do that. So you can click on them and click more, I think it is, and then you could chat with somebody or you could chat with everybody. So what I'm going to do with you, Jose, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make you a co-host.
Okay.
And now tell me if when I make you a co-host, does your part change at all, or is it just, does it look the same?
As of now, where it says participants, now it says next to my name, co-host Komomi. And now I don't see any difference on it.
Okay. So it's probably when you become, the only reason why I asked that is because there's a slight change in the actual toolbar. Instead of saying view options, it will say more, and then you have some options to go into, pause recording, stop recording, these things. There's some options there that you guys can kind of look at on your own time. You're more than welcome to do that. Okay, so I just made you a co-host. So now you essentially have, and I just shared the screen. I don't know if you have access to changing my screen. You might not.
I don't think so. No, it's not doing anything when it
That's okay.
down.
So, but what you do have access as a co-host is you have the availability to if it wasn't recorded, okay, and you have the availability or access to try to control the screen if I give you the control. So right now I just gave you control to the screen, and now you can control my screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. There you go. Kind of wait.
You'll see that there's a little bit of a lag, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's because it's on PowerPoint. So PowerPoint does have a little bit of a lag with this material. I've noticed it's about maybe 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You'll also notice that there's probably a bit of a lag with the actual program itself. With the sound, you'll notice that the students will probably be repeating after you, maybe a few seconds after you said something. Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, you do have the availability or the ability to give somebody hosting or hosting ability, the capability. So I'm going to do the same thing for you as well, Stanley. So actually, I give it if I can take it away. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to make.
Okay. And I can also give up remote control.
Yeah, you can give up remote control to different people. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I can
yeah, I'm actually, as a co-host, if you kind of go, so go into, now you're a co-host, Stanley, and if you go into the participants button, you can click on, and you can kind of see your abilities of what you can do as a co-host.
Okay.
I'm still controlling your screen, Manga.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, so on the more button, it says mute or play or lock meeting.
Okay, mute, play on the control button. More, click the more button. Did you click that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says mute participants or play, enter, exit the chime, lock meeting.
Oh, okay.
Those
All right.
things.
It's interesting. Okay. There's also oh, I see. So next to your name, why don't you go ahead and look at your name? Do you see your name there in our names?
Yeah.
Do you hover over that? Can you see mute and then a more? button? Can you?
Yeah, there's no more button at the top.
Oh.
Just co-host and me. And then it's just mute and rename.
Ah, okay.
I saw like at the bottom where it says share screen, there's like a little tag thing, I guess, that appears when you can co-host. Is that what you're looking for?
You know what? Yeah, I don't know that. So what is it that appears when you're co-host?
Right next to share screen on the right side of it.
Okay.
There should be when you're co-hosting. Happened to me.
Okay.
There was like a little tab that you can open up.
Oh, there's a little arrow, a menu.
Yeah.
Okay, and on that menu you have it says one participant can share, multiple participants can share, advanced sharing options.
Okay. So that's what you're. So that okay, that's interesting. So that's actually pretty cool. That's you have to really worry about. You don't really have to worry about the students sharing anything, but I guess if like between if you and I were sharing multiple, like if you wanted me to see your screen and vice versa, then we can do that.
But yeah, whenever I roll my cursor over Jose's name field and your name field, both of you do have that more.
Oh.
You got the more button.
Oh, I see. Oh, you don't have the more button, but okay. So click on that.
Both of you do, but I do not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense because I have the same thing. Okay. Need more coffee. I should have realized that. Okay. So you click on more. There's lots of you can chat with us directly. You can stop the video. Host, right? Make a co-host. Can you make a co-host on Jose's name? I think I can make. Oh, okay. So now I made both co-hosts.
No, I can't make him co-host.
Someone make me co-host.
I think I'm as the host. I can make co-host. So I just made you both co-hosts. So.
But there are options. When I click on more, there's a couple of options I can do.
Okay.
I can chat, or I can stop the video, spotlight the video.
Okay. Yeah. So what the system will ask you to do, so anytime when you click participants and you want to make yourself as a host, you for a host key, and that key information along with the information I will always provide for you. You are entering your lesson on TeachWorks. Like it will ask you, please claim yourself as a host and enter this key. So that's one of the things that you'll have to do, and you can't see that right now because because I'm the host, but it's basically password. Okay. I just wanted to see for you guys what capabilities you had as a co-host, which are pretty much all of the capabilities as a regular host. So, okay. Okay. So any questions that you might have about sharing or hosting at this point? Okay.
Not at the moment.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go back to the slide here. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go over some of these other features here. So, and you guys are both co-hosts. So tell me what you see. Where did your toolbar move to? Do you have the same toolbar that you did before? Or do you have one that says it's the same exact thing in the same location? Is it above or below?
I pretty much, it's the same toolbar.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, no problem. All right, so I'm going to ask you to try to find the button that says annotate. I'm going to show you the annotate tool, the toolbar, which is a separate toolbar. So if you click on that, and that might be in your view options. So if you go into view options section of your toolbar, And you'll have
You want us
possibly,
to click on annotate?
yeah, click on annotate. So this is what you'll use often when you are have the student draw on something, maybe, you know, because you have a mouse, but you also have, yeah, there you go. And by the way, you guys do not need to give remote control access for the student to draw on zhumu, okay? Using zhumu. So they can actually click on the toolbar, and they'll actually be already trained a little bit on this. So if you tell them, you know, okay, little Stanley, make sure that, you know, you're going to click the box on this particular item, you know, and then what they will do is, you know, they have the draw section. So if you see the draw, you see the squiggly lines and the squares and all. I like the X's and the check marks. So they can actually put X's. Now, and you guys can kind of fool around with the toolbar, or if you want, you can fool around with the annotation. But one thing that you want to make sure is that anytime you're done with the tools, you want to just erase these actual drawings. You'll want to clear your drawings, and you can do that with eraser, or you can do that with clear my drawing, or you can clear others' drawings. You can clear all drawing at the same time, you know, and that's where this little trash can is located. And the reason why I say that is you want to make sure you do that before you move to the next screen, because if you don't, you need to have all of your drawings on the next page, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I have this, and then I move the next screen, the problem is too, so you know, you have all of this, you have all of this writing, and then it appears on the next screen. But you can still clear the drawing. Like, it's not like it's not, make that mistake, it's not that big of a deal. But remember, or you'll trust me, you'll remember it the next time. So, and one thing you want to make sure too is that you always just click the mouse button. Like if you had like if you're trying to navigate the screen or something and you need to, you know, use your mouse button for some reason, just click that mouse button. Yeah, pretty neat. A neat little annotation tool for that zhumu has. I like to use, you know, for emphasis purposes, I like to use arrow. And you can always click out of the arrow. So if you don't want it to stick, you can click out of it. Spotlight is kind of cool for emphasis purposes, or I might even keep it on the spotlight. Yeah. And then if I wanted you guys, though, like, yeah, remote control access is helpful if I wanted you guys to navigate. But for drawing, you don't even need to give, like right now I have Stanley has remote control access, but unless, you know, he doesn't really need it as a student. All right, so I think that now you're controlling my screen. So now you're able to click spotlight if you wanted to, and click on the mouse.
Okay. Hey, I didn't catch how you how you pulled up that spotlight.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what you see on your screen, but right next to the draw button, there should be a spotlight or arrow button.
There's an arrow.
Okay, so click on that, and then there's spotlight arrow. There should be two symbols.
It's just the arrow.
Oh,
that's it.
That's interesting. I'll make spotlight. Maybe you have it if you were sharing the screen.
Oh, okay.
That's very possible.
And I'm as I click for the arrow for emphasis, yeah, it doesn't stick. How did you say? If we wanted to make it?
Yeah, if you have the arrow, no, it doesn't stick. If you want to take it out, then you click on it. But yeah, it doesn't really stick.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. But, you know, if you're trying to delete it because it's staying on the page, then you would just, you just exit out. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so so that's very likely why you don't see the spotlight, is because, like, you don't see it right now even. Like, you see it on.
I see it right now. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have the option myself.
You don't have the option. Okay, and that's, again, probably because you're not sharing the screen. So. Okay. All right. Any other questions about this? I feel like I have covered a lot of already on zhumu, because it's a lot of just getting used to familiarizing yourself with it. So do schedule your trial lesson with me. You know, this is kind of an open, let me know if you wanted to use it to practice before you meet with me. Just let me know. So it's not going to be used by any other staff member or anything like that. Okay.
I was wondering myself, sorry, if there was like any way I can like play with the program myself before I have the trial lesson.
Absolutely. Yeah, just let me know in advance. Yeah, let me want to play with it ahead of time. That way I know that there's no other staff person or someone else using it. So just tell me, yeah, I want to prepare for my trial lesson. Can I use it at this? I'll let you know. And I mean, early in the morning, that's mostly when our lessons are conducted, and that this room will be used at that time. But like around this time, if there's, you know, there's probably okay to use. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yes. Any other questions about zhumu? I think I pretty much covered what to cover. And then we can.
I like
all
it.
Right.
It's simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. So, you know, it's easy to use. But it's also practical. I mean, what we were considering in the past. This is well for the students and for the teachers. But one thing try to recommend is to make sure that your sound is okay. So kind of do a sound check. There is an option on audio options. Ask your computers and microphone. So if you do that way, you like your speaker volume, your mic, and all of that. Make sure it's at a reasonable volume, so that way your students can hear you. Because sometimes, and we cannot control this, or trying to, but sometimes the students are looking at a screen like this big, you know, but they don't all have laptops or, you know, or something. So sometimes they can't hear everything, you know. You know, if you could try to at the beginning. So what I would do is try to test your computer audio, and you can do that by clicking on the more options or the view options, and then if you do that, there's audio options somewhere around there. And then if you do that, then you click test computer, mic, and speakers, and then you'll be able to test that stuff. So, alrighty.
Looking.
Okay. Do you see the audio options?
Is it under view option?
It should be under view options, audio options, possibly audio settings.
It's on the little tab next to the mute button. It says audio options, and you can open it up.
See,
computer audio.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. It says computer, mic, and speakers. I don't know if I should click.
Yeah, if you click on it, it will just test your speakers and your mic. You'll see like a little microphone. You know, kind of like.
Yeah, can I read the connection or anything?
No,
Okay. Let me see.
should be fine. Yeah, so again, it's a little bit of different screen. On my screen, I have a more option, and then it clicks on audio and video settings. So.
Oh, audio options. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, audio options.
It works.
Awesome.
And you can, the basic setting of the program. You found it?
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
No. Are you just testing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hear anything if you're testing it, I think.
Oh, okay.
No. You hear like a static sound running.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, and by the way, I don't know why I put this before, but each of us on our little sidebars, our little pictures there, you'll see, if you see there's different ways of viewing. There's the thumbnails. So, yeah, so I'm viewing you guys through thumbnails, just easier. But yeah, so that's at the top button there. There's also a big, large active speaker window, whatever. So there's also, by each of our names, there's the mute button, and then there's a little,
Like options button.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a little options button. The ellipses there. And you can, it looks like it's basically the same exact options as if you were to go on to the manage participants. So then you can even chat with somebody here. You can make a host, co-host. There's also something called closed caption. Closed caption is kind of like chat, but it appears on the bottom of the screen. So like I can assign you guys closed caption, or I can just chat or do the closed caption. It will appear on the bottom of the screen.
I'm looking for that closed caption. Oh, there it is.
It's just another option of chatting. So let's say something's wrong with the audio, and you're not quite sure what the problem is, and you need to relate to the China team or something like that. Or if you just, you just want that feature, then that's an option for you, but you don't have to. Show like who has closed caption and who doesn't.
I have the closed caption.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too. It just popped up.
Oh, great. Yeah, so pop up and says hello. Yep. Okay. So that's just another way of using those other options for the participants, or just on the sidebars there. All right, so I think we're going to move past zhumu, and if you guys don't have any further questions, and we'll have a few minutes to probably go over the big English material. So I just wanted to show this slide here, which is just some features, key features of the. That's not. Oh, darn it. I forgot to resume the share, so I didn't realize that I didn't have it on. Okay, current slide. So I had mentioned a few times that we basically are two types of software programs through Pearson education. Okay, so the first is the Big English Active Teach, and our materials that we've assessed, this we feel this has been probably the better of all of them. We did actually like one other one, but it was British English, and so we're trying to adhere to the standard American English, structured, all of that. So Big English is pretty good for that. And just some of the features. What I talked about before, there are 6 levels. Learners. And it says 4 to 15, but you know, we've had some older students who've used the program too. It is equipped with a lot of resources, one of which being a 200-page teacher resource manual. And the manual, it just illustrates a lot of information about learning styles, different ways that you can manage the classroom, timetable managing the classroom, and then there are some printed resources, printed materials like the alphabet, activities, and things like that. All of the activities, they're not necessary for you to use for the students, but they're there at your disposal if you're trying to plan a lesson and you just want some extra guidance. That's what the resource manual is for. Okay, and we'll take a look at it. The Big English Active Teach is considered point style or presentation style, so you're able to navigate each screen by screen like a PowerPoint, and I'll show you that in a minute. Student learning tools, the different ways the student can learn are through songs, through activities, some games like tic-tac-toe, for instance. And by the way, some Chinese students don't know what tic-tac-toe is, so that's actually a fun game for them. Yeah, I know, I was surprised too. So those are some interest. So that could take up a whole 10-minute lesson on just trying to teach them tic-tac-toe and the grammar or the vocabulary. Engaging stories, informative videos, useful flashcards. All of these are unit by unit. So we have 6 levels and about 9 or 10 units in each level. So they're all designed to last about a year. Okay, so what we were noticing is that some teachers were going through these units like crazy, like, you know, a unit each class period, and we're to stay away from that and really focus on the student learning outcomes that are designated on the rubric. So the student learning outcomes of speaking, reading, writing, and listening, and how well they are absorbing the material. So, and we'll look at the Big English material in a minute. We'll look at one level. I'll show you what I mean by the different activities that are involved. Now, the end of every single level, there is something called a practice test, and that is what we use to students' levels first before they actually are assigned a level. So, for instance, if we know the student's a first or second grader, we will assign or give them an assessment. It's fairly simple and comprehensive, and then the teacher will be able to gauge, okay, this student probably can use some work in speaking or maybe read or writing. However, this is a little too remedial, this section. So maybe they should move up a level and start at level 2 instead of level 1, type thing. So that's what the practice test is for. And then each level, obviously advances as the move higher in rank. So that's Big English, okay? And to take some time, look at a Big English level, okay? Give me 1 second. Do my utmost to pull up the first level of Big English. Okay. All right, so I pulled this up from my desktop. It was already saved on my desktop. And that would be one of the recommendations as we kind of go through this and you're kind of gathering the levels as I send them to you. Probably just want to save them right onto your desktop. It's just easy for easily accessible. So you click on the icon and this kind of pops up. And one of the things that you'll want to do, first thing, is to just don't save my work, because these two, they're really no use for them. So if you want to see the help video, that's useful. But these first two are not useful. So don't save my work, and I just press the start button. And these are all of the units that are available. Yeah, it begins on the title page, but I'm just going to click on the title just so you can experience what Big English is and the active teach. You're more than welcome to kind of browse through any one of these units, okay? Table contents, here's the first unit, and it goes all the way to unit 9. And right here on the bottom, this is the Young Learners English Starter. So this is the assessment that I was telling you about. This is what we use to test students which level we think they should be going into for the Big English. But yeah, if you just click on this Big English, this is just this is like an ebook essentially. So you'll notice on the toolbars are a little different obviously from zhumu, even though your zhumu toolbar is still there. It's still above or below or wherever it is. But you'll have your navigation toolbar for Big English just right here on the side. Okay, so if you just want to navigate page by page, just click on the right arrow there. It should work. Sometimes it doesn't work. For me, it's right now. It should work. If not, then you can also click on this button, which is kind of useful, the table contents button. I contents because it gives me the opportunity to check different pages. So if I were to, at Unit 1, then I jump to those pages, especially if I am preparing a lesson, rather than navigate the different pages. So rather than click the navigation button. I just click the navigation button and it does work. I don't think it works on that title page for some reason, but here's the table of contents. I mean, this is necessary, but you can obviously you can click on units on the table of contents. I know a teacher who likes to go through the Big English song in the morning, like that's the first thing he does. So, oh no, what did I do? I just logged out. Sorry about that, guys. And I'm logging back in. Okay. Takes a little while to load. Okay. All right, so if you just click on a unit, it just goes right to it. You can see it up here. You can click on it. I think you can double click, but you could just do this here. This is the ebook. And you see here's the units. Here are the different activities. Activity 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, in order for one to actually see, it's probably tiny print right now, right? You're probably having trouble reading it. So yeah, and so in order to increase the font size, you'll want to then put the page in presentation mode. So basically, it just needs to be transferred in presentation mode. And in order to do that, you'll have to click on the item and read and sing, or listen, point and say, or listen, point. So you'll have to click on the on that terminology there, and then it
Kind of blow it up.
blows it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then from here, you can navigate the pages. You can go to the next page, and then you'll see they're just single pages that are in presentation mode. Again, if you wanted to go back to the actual ebook portion just to see where you are, you can do that. But it's probably best that, especially if you're only going to go through a couple of pages, that you just click the active teach mode.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is, we have some time. I'm just going to show you what the audio sounds like. Okay, so, and I'm just going to be sing. I'm kidding, you don't have to. But James is going to sing. See, I hear it's James is my colleague back here, and he's going to sing the classroom song with us. I'm kidding.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, though, when I say they're catchy, these songs are so they're really like they get your blood flowing. They really do get your body moving. So the only, and this is where the active part of Active Teach really comes in, is the teacher using their I guess to help students really see these off the page or off the screen, you know, come to life. So so that's what I was telling. We'll talk about TPR tomorrow, but total physical response, getting the students to move and motivate. And then when they hear a word and they know what that means, so something like, you know, you like for this particular one, you'll probably have to use like props or something like that, like, you know, pencils or pens or backpack or something. But the purpose is for them to hear the very clear sentence structure, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and press. So what I do is I just press this play button right here. This button for karaoke doesn't work very well, but, you know, if you want them to sing and record, that's fun too. But if they don't know the words, especially in the beginning, you'll just want to play the song for them. So here it is. I'm going to play the song, and I might dance a little bit. So just be prepared. But one thing you'll notice is that when you play this audio bank pops up automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes right in the middle. So you have to kind of be prepared to move it pretty quick, you know, just so it's out of the way. Did you have a question or a comment? Yeah.
No, I was just.
Okay, awesome. Okay. And also what I do is, just so you guys, so everybody can hear, is that there is the audio has also sound, and it's the big English sound. If you move that all the way up, that way they can hear it, that would be great. Too necessary, but if you want, they do have the words that kind of highlight the sentence structure, so that's also something to think about if you're wanting to emphasize in a lesson some of those items. But if you're just starting off with the song, you know, you got to think about they've been in class all day, they're probably tired, you know, they want to go to bed, whatever. So this remotivates and reactivates their mind. So it's a little slower, actually. Very happy to see you. My name is Sue. My person's blue. My name is Lynn. This is my plan. My name is have a backpack. Please take out your To see you. Happy to see you too. All right, so that one is actually pretty, that's a basic than some of the other ones I've heard, so really animated. So you can see, obviously, the kids don't pop out on the page, you know, no one's really dancing around on the screen, so so that would be some kind of up to you guys to get to, you know, get your coffee in you and get it going. So, but that, yeah, so that kind of starts a little bit, and they're probably not going to understand right away, you know, but if this is a lesson, like especially this is a unit you guys been going over for a little while, then they'll be excited to want to sing the classroom song or something, you know, some variation thereof. So you gotta remember, this is also first grade, you know, kindergarten, second grade. So. Yeah, so you have that, so that's the song there. And then, by the way, anytime that you're done with any video listening, you can just, or audio bank listening, you just click out. And as far as some of these other portions of the unit, so let's see, so this one, for instance, it will always tell you what this says here. So you'll just have to kind of bear. So it gives a little bit of a pause. So that gives you, the teacher, the opportunity to pause it, have the student repeat, or go through the entire vocabulary list and then go back to it. I've seen it happen in different ways. I had teachers actually just not use the audio bank and just use the information themselves. Like, okay, what pictures do you recognize? You know, or just go through it and have them repeat it and then test their abilities, you know, thereafter. So it's only a minute long, so. This is where you can use your little arrows. Oops, too soon. Or even just the ruler. Yeah, and so that's, got it again. So sorry, guys. I don't know how I managed to, no, I didn't.
No, yeah, that's interesting.
Right there, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of the page there. Let's see if there's anything else that we can look at on this unit that would be engaging. This is the, I'm going to kind of tell you though, this is a little bit, this is like the actual story itself. So there's always a story, and then there's always questions about the story, right? So they can answer and ask questions about the story. The story, again, the children are not moving, you know, so it's just a very, very basic, but you can still use annotation tools to help the students understand what is being said in the story. So you use highlighter or arrow, whatever it is that you want to use. So that's. All right, classroom colors. Look, what's it? Sorry. And again, this could be an opportunity, like a teaching opportunity for you if you want to go through the entire story and then go through it again and then ask questions. You know, you can even ask the questions and do a little role play if you wanted to. I've seen it in various ways. Where the student, they pick up, you know, again, they're great readers. They pick up pretty quickly what is on the screen. But then they maybe are a little timid with saying it the correct way. So, you know, that's where you can use, you know, your corrective skills to help them out, especially with the grammar. So simple enough, but it's really kind of fun. You can spend quite a bit of time just on these 2 pages alone, and then there's tic-tac-toe. The tic-tac-toe, it's quite, yeah, this is actually kind of neat too, especially if you're, you know, you tell them, okay, I'm X, you're O, you know how to play, and then just kind of show them how to play. Now, here is where you have to use the remote control. Anytime they're going to play a game on Big English, they have to use the remote. If you're going to have them draw or something like that, they can use zhumu. Okay. So unfortunately, 3 people can't play tic-tac-toe, but I'm going to actually give the remote to Jose and see if you could figure out how to play it. I mean, I could show you too. I know you know how to play tic-tac-toe, I'm sure, but as far as the actual, it's a little tricky. So you got to choose X or O, and then you click on your proposed tile. So. And I think you got to actually click on it and then click on the tile, I think, whatever one you want to choose.
Okay.
And then you got to click on, I think then you got to click on it. There you go. Click on it. There you go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah. And if I wanted to go, then I click on the tile. So, yeah, it's backwards. You got to click on the tile first, then choose. Okay.
Okay. So it has nothing to do with the drawing the tic-tac-toe table.
You're not drawing. You're not drawing. Yeah, and really all you can do too is you can ask them questions like, okay, we're going to play this game. You explain the game to them, you show them, and just say, okay, but you actually have to tell me what what item that is first before you click on it. So you kind of give them something to actually work towards, so like, oh, it's a red and blue chair. Oh, good. Okay. So if they don't get it, then, take that spot and actually win or something, like, oh, it's a red marker. I don't know why. I'm actually not that great at this game. Okay. Yay. All right. So, but I also didn't say what I was clicking on, so maybe I didn't really win, huh? So that, I think, I don't know what page number this is, but I think it's towards the end of the unit of 1. What's that?
It can be considered like a quiz or something like that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? I think you got cut out there. It can be considered.
Yeah. It can be considered like a quiz.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can use it in quiz form, especially after you've gone over some of the vocabulary already. And then you can just say, okay, I want to play a game. And then you can use, and then if they're, you get to test their abilities that way. And I accidentally clicked on this, so I didn't really expect this to go to tic-tac-toe. But one thing you could do too before you get to the game is you could show those couple pages of the materials, and then you can actually go into like maybe the flashcards. So there's down here called picture cards, and it goes by unit. So you can click on the picture cards. Actually, right now, I'm going to go ahead and give a remote control access to go ahead and give remote control access to Stanley. And you can go ahead and I would, just navigate it. You can show all on the right, upper left, right, or switch slide. So if you switch the slides, it turns it around.
Okay.
And go ahead and click. Go ahead and click the little right button where the sound icon is on the bottom. It's just right below the backpack. Yeah, there you go.
I'm thinking too hard here.
Yeah, so you can have them repeat backpack, and you can just show them the pictures first. So you click on the right arrow. I think it just goes right to every single one, and just shows the pictures.
And then you can go back.
Now, if you want them to see the words, so actually see the vocabulary on screen, you can simply just click that. Simply just click it, and it will turn it around for you.
Nice.
Like a flashcard.
Yeah, they're like flashcards, right? Digital flashcards. So right now, it's on crayon, but it's on the image itself. Wanted to start with the vocabulary and then turn it around. I mean, you could do various things. All you would have to do is just go back to switch slide, upper left hand, and it will switch it. And then now all of the words will appear. The vocabulary will appear first, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And I've seen it different ways, where the teachers, again, they would teach and then they would use the digital flashcards to go through the vocabulary, and then they would maybe, like what you were saying, Jose, kind of use the game as a test, and they would go back to the song. Because 25 minutes is a lot. I mean, you don't have a lot of time really when you're kind of going through some of these things. Just focus on a few pages that emphasize the vocabulary at first, just so they can get down the material. The other features that has besides the vocabulary is these so there's these sources down here. So right now we just went over picture cards, but there's also a video segment. So each unit has a video segment. So here's unit 1. And each unit, there's a dramatic segment and a documentary. Now, they're very helpful with understanding the dramatic, understanding the storyline and the different materials that are used throughout the unit. The act is awful, so don't judge, don't judge the poor kids and their acting. But very helpful with the different materials that you see, like the eraser, the marker, the backpack. So all of these, in the sentence structure and that sort of thing. So I'm going to actually show you dramatic segment. The video quality isn't the best. This is from, I think, 2012, but See, you noticed it. Because you laughed. I don't, it took me a while to like, wait, what's going on? We already can tell Adam's a troublemaker.
Mhm.
All right. So that's, obviously self-explanatory, but again, a variation of the flashcards, the first couple pages, the song, the game, you're pretty much filled up, with the whole 25 minutes. And each, like I said, each unit, they have a theme. So as you can see, this is the classroom theme, but they have objects in the classroom. They also have colors. So those are two sort of ongoing themes. You'll kind of see that interspersed in the different units. So the dramatic segment focuses on, so this dramatic segment focused on colors, but focused on objects in the classroom. The video that we don't really have much time, but the documentary that focuses more on colors. So we can look at that tomorrow if you want. And then tomorrow we'll also look at this toolbar here and the different features of this toolbar. So this is the English toolbar. We haven't looked at it today because there's some links to this that I'd like to show you. That I think if we have a little bit more time, we'll look at that. And we'll also look at the teacher resources. So we'll briefly look at the teacher resource file. And then just some other features. And if you want, we can look at another unit or another level, just so you can see the differences. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and reserve this time now for any questions that you might have about Big English. We didn't go over a lot of it, I understand, but anything that kind of jump out at you. That was a dual consensus of at the same time. That was awesome.
The 6 levels, is that really is kind of tailored to each student? It has nothing to do with what grade level they're in.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. So even if it's level 6, they might be in a freshman or a sophomore, you know.
Okay.
We've even used level 6 for some adults, you know, and not necessarily teaching, not like business English, but just to learn like conversational English or essay writing or, you know, regular writing, that sort of thing. So yeah, each level is designed for specific, you know, skill set. So English proficiency skill set. So,
Okay.
and that in the rubric that I provide in the 4All rubrics, you'll see the high achievers. What if they actually achieve level 6? Then, you know, they're basically being able to hold a regular conversation with a native speaker, you know, type thing, you know, with some things that they need to work on. But yeah,
Okay.
we've had a couple like 10th, 11th graders that have been working on level 6. So and they're pretty decent in their English. So yeah.
Okay.
This is a little more text heavy. So is level 5. You know. A lot more narratives, so a lot more like expository writing, you know, to the more paragraph and essay generation. So,
and all of those levels, even the more advanced 5s and 6s, it's always a 25-minute session.
yes, yeah. So, you know, students, if they wanted to have a longer session, if they wanted to sign up for a longer session, that's okay. Sometimes they'll just go back to, you know, the next time around, you know. So obviously you would be able to, you'd have to really focus on specific areas, you know, like maybe a couple paragraphs versus, you know, an entire unit, you know, or, you know, having them write essays on something, you know. And if you want to, and if they have the time, a lot of these students at that age are studying for, you know, English tests, so they might not have that opportunity to write an essay. But even if you want to write a paragraph about their favorite, you know, day at school or something like that, you know, just to see what their writing skills are, you know, that's possible at that level.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions? Not right now? Okay. All right. Well, then are you okay with signing on again tomorrow around the same time?
2:30 my time?
Yes.
Time?
Yes.
11:30 California.
Yeah, 11:30 California time, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I appreciate you guys coming on and bearing with me here. And then, again, if you do have any questions, let me know. I can send this video to you. It will if you don't see it in your email, I'll try to share it, and maybe I'll kind of create a YouTube video so it's a lot easier for sharing purposes. But we'll meet tomorrow. Okay.
All righty. Thank you very much, Manya.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Or, yeah, I guess it's nighttime. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then go ahead and end the meeting. Okay, bye-bye.
See you, Jose.